Super Apple Episode 4, Seed of Doubt. The next morning, Apple woke up late. The usual training alarms had already ended, but he didn't care. His muscles ached, though not as much as his chest. He sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the floor, remembering the sinking ship, the screams, the water turning red. He hated silence now. It gave him too much space to think. A soft knock echoed on his door. "Apple?" Metal Girl's voice. She opened the door slightly, peeking in with a small smile. "You skipped training again." "I'm just tired," he muttered. She walked in, her metallic skin glinting under the pale ceiling lights. "You should tell Talia. You know she worries about you." He didn't answer. He was still staring at his hands. Metal Girl sighed and sat beside him. "I know how you feel. It doesn't get easier. But that's why we train, to make sure it doesn't happen again." He gave a weak smile. "You sound like her." "I've been around her long enough," she said with a small chuckle. "You should go talk to her, before she comes here herself." Talia was already waiting when he entered her office. She smiled softly, not her commanding smile, but the gentle one she used when she wanted him calm. "There you are," she said. "You've been quiet since the mission." Apple hesitated before speaking. I keep seeing their faces. I could have done something." Talia walked closer and placed a hand on his cheek. "Apple, listen to me. You did do something. You stopped a creature that could have destroyed the entire coastline. You saved thousands." "But I didn't save them," he said quietly, her hand lowered, resting on his shoulder. "That's the curse of heroes, my dear. You'll remember every life you couldn't save, but the world only keeps turning because of the ones you did." Apple didn't reply. Her voice was so calm, so certain, it made him want to believe her. "You're strong," she continued. "Stronger than you know. You just need time to understand what it means to carry that strength." He looked down. "Do you ever regret it?" Talia smiled sadly. "Every day. But regret can't change what's already done. What we can do is make sure it never happens again." She turned to the window overlooking the city, hands clasped behind her back. "When the world sees chaos, we see opportunity. To fix what's broken. To protect what can't protect itself." Apple finally nodded, slowly. "I'll try. That's all I ask," she said warmly. "Now go rest. You've earned it." As he left, she watched him go, her reflection in the glass faintly smiling. That night, Apple lay awake again. He wanted to believe her. He wanted to believe he was doing good. But every time he closed his eyes, he saw that sinking ship. For the first time, he didn't know if he was the hero he thought he was, or just someone pretending to be one. Apple didn't get much time to think. The next day, Talia called him to the main hall. The hologram behind her showed a wide stretch of forest, black smoke rising between the trees. Fire crawled across the ground like a living thing. "There's a robot out of control," Talia said gently. "It's burning the forest. Wildlife is already fleeing. If it reaches the nearby towns, it'll be disastrous." Apple stared at the image. A robot. Not a monster. Not an animal. Something built. "What kind of robot?" he asked. "One of our old models," Talia replied smoothly. "Designed for land clearing. Its systems malfunctioned." Apple hesitated. After the sea mole, after everything he'd been feeling, the word malfunction sat heavy in his chest. Metal Girl stepped closer. "You don't have to rush," she said quietly. "But if you go, I'll be on standby." Apple nodded, forcing himself to straighten up. "I'll handle it." The forest was already dying when he arrived. Trees cracked and collapsed as fire climbed their trunks. The air was thick with ash. Birds scattered overhead, their cries sharp and panicked. Then he saw it. The robot stood tall among the flames, its metal limbs glowing red from the heat. Massive rotating arms tore through trees, feeding the fire with every movement. Its visor flickered, scanning, calculating, burning. Apple flew in low, landing hard in the dirt. "Hey," he shouted. "Power down." The robot didn't respond. It turned, flames trailing behind it, and charged. Apple dodged as a burning tree crashed where he'd stood seconds earlier. He fired a burst of seeds at its joints. They bounced off, useless, clattering into the fire. He clenched his teeth. Think. The forest crackled around him. Every second he fought, more trees fell. More ground turned to ash. "This isn't saving anyone," he muttered, darting between collapsing branches. "This is just damage control." The robot swung again. Apple caught the arm, muscles screaming as heat burned through his gloves. He shoved it back, skidding through dirt and embers. For a moment, the robot froze. Its visor flickered again, emitting a distorted mechanical sound, not words, not quite a scream either. Apple hesitated, then the fire surged higher. He flew upward, clenched both fists, and slammed down with everything he had. The impact cracked the ground. The robot collapsed into the dirt, its systems finally shutting down as flames slowly died around it. Silence followed. Only smoke. Only ruins. Apple stood there, breathing hard, looking at the scorched forest stretching in every direction. The fire was gone, but the damage stayed. He opened his communicator. "The robot's down." Talia's voice came through immediately, calm and reassuring. "Good work, Apple. You stopped it before it reached the towns." He looked at the burned trees, the dead ground. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I stopped it." As the smoke drifted into the sky, Apple didn't feel relief. Only the familiar weight pressing on his chest again, heavier than before.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for the next episode.